Welcome to Metabolic Mythbusters, where we explore the truth about your metabolism, energy, and overall health.
Missing just one night of sleep makes your healthy cells as insulin resistant as someone with type 2 diabetes. The body rejects incoming energy. In the US, we often treat sleep deprivation as a badge of honor. We operate on minimal rest, trying to optimize our health through intense morning workouts and black coffee. But you cannot out-diet or out-caffeinate chronic exhaustion, because these tactics do not address the biological root of the problem. This creates a cycle of frustration for people committed to a clean eating lifestyle. They eat nutrient-dense meals, yet still battle persistent brain fog, daily fatigue, and stubborn belly fat. This struggle stems from a metabolic process that doesn't happen at the dining table, or even during your waking hours. This metabolic shift is not a problem with what is on your plate. It is a direct consequence of what happens on your pillow. There is a strict biological threshold. Dipping below 7 hours of sleep triggers a systemic stress response inside the body. The body responds with an immediate surge in cortisol, the primary hormone used to manage acute stress. This diagram shows the metabolic result. Elevated cortisol levels instruct the body to store fat around the midsection as a biological mechanism for survival. This chemical survival switch prioritizes fat retention, making it significantly harder to see results from a calorie deficit achieved through diet or exercise. While the body hoards energy as fat, the brain's hunger signaling network begins to malfunction. This graph maps a dual hormone failure. The top line shows Ghrelin, your eat signal, surging. The bottom line shows leptin, your full signal, dropping. This whitening red gap represents chemical starvation. Within this red zone, the brain demands high-sugar, high-carb fuel for rapid energy. When you crave sugar after a bad night of sleep, it isn't a failure of willpower. It is a physiological response to an internal chemical imbalance. Research from the University of Chicago quantified this damage. It shows that sleep deprivation results in a 40% slower rate of clearing sugar from the bloodstream. This leads to a conflict. Eating a breakfast that is, by every standard, healthy. But on this continuous glucose monitor graph, you see the failure. Because insulin cannot do its job, a healthy meal results in a prolonged sugar spike. This lingering blood sugar triggers systemic inflammation and long-term cellular damage. A nutritious diet cannot bypass the metabolic resistance of sleep-deprived cells. Without rest, the body remains in a state of metabolic dysfunction. Repairing this damage doesn't require a new diet. It requires a circadian reset. The first step is the morning sunlight anchor. To synchronize your internal clock, you need 10 minutes of direct sunlight in your eyes before 9 a.m. This morning exposure serves as the biological trigger that allows your body to produce melatonin 14 hours later. Sleep quality is determined by your actions the moment you wake up, linking your daytime behavior directly to your nighttime recovery. To protect that recovery, you can follow the 3-2-1 rule, as shown in this timeline. Stop eating 3 hours before bed, and work 2 hours before, and drop screens 1 hour before. You should also lower the bedroom temperature to 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius to signal to the brain that it is time for rest. Magnesium glycinate can also be a helpful tool to calm the nervous system before sleep. This sequence helps transition the body out of its stressed survival mode and into the restorative state necessary for metabolic health. Sleep is not a passive luxury. It is the active, non-negotiable foundation of human metabolism. Mental focus and energy levels depend on prioritizing rest alongside diet and exercise. To master your health, you must look beyond what is on your plate and start protecting what happens on your pillow.